When a flashlight beam finally cuts through the dark, it doesn't reveal a struggling herd. It rests on a row of pristine, bloodless carcasses. The summer of 1995 marked the beginning of a modern mystery. In the municipality of Canóvanas, Puerto Rico, a small town stopped sleeping as an unknown predator began stalking their farms. Farmers awoke to find over 150 animals dead in a single night, from goats and chickens to family pets. There were no signs of a struggle and no torn flesh. Despite the scale of the event, investigators found no tracks left behind in the dirt. Each animal had been killed the same way, drained of its life force through a single, precise circular incision. This absence of physical evidence created an informational vacuum that terror immediately filled. As the community panic grew, the invisible threat finally took a specific physical form through the account of Madelyne Tolentino. Tolentino described a creature that defied biology, a bipedal, reptilian being with glowing red eyes and quills running down its spine. The creature reportedly hopped like a kangaroo and emitted a high-pitched, screeching vocalization. By combining real agricultural devastation with this specific biological profile, the mystery was elevated from a local nuisance to a legendary monster. Civilian terror eventually triggered an institutional response. Mayor Jose Chemo Soto mobilized the town. Mayor Soto led a heavily armed search party deep into the dense, confusing terrain of the Yunque rainforest. The hunt found nothing. Despite being heavily armed, the men found no sign of the creature itself. The party emerged from the jungle reporting only an overwhelming, lingering scent of sulfur hanging in the air. When traditional authorities failed to capture the beast, logic began to fracture. Whispers began to spread that the creature was a genetic experiment gone wrong, hidden in a secret government lab in the mountains. When institutions fail to explain a threat, a panicked society will construct conspiratorial frameworks to regain a sense of control. As the body count rose, the panic spread across the sea, causing the story to spill over the borders of the island. The legend migrated to the American mainland, taking root in Texas and the American Southwest. In this new environment, the creature's description mutated into a gaunt, hairless, four-legged canine to better fit the arid landscape. This mainland scavenger shared almost no physical traits with the bipedal, reptilian jungle predator of Canóvanas. The Chupacabra was born in the modern glare of the 1990s, evolving within a technologically connected era. This rapid evolution proves that modern myths are not static. They mutate to exploit the specific anxieties and landscapes of new populations. Pitch black. A lonely stretch of barbed wire cutting across the mainland scrub. The only sound is the wind and the restless shuffling of livestock trying to sleep. Then, a trail camera flickers on. It catches a hairless, blue-skinned canine with a jagged spine prowling the fence line. As the goatsucker myth crossed from the Caribbean islands into North America, the physical description of the creature underwent a sudden mutation. The original accounts of a bipedal reptilian monster began to vanish. In their place, mainland witnesses started describing a gaunt, four-legged canine with glowing red eyes. This shift meant investigators were no longer chasing a campfire story. They were tracking a physical predator that left footprints and biological evidence behind. In 1996, the mystery found fertile ground in the state of Sinaloa and the arid coastal deserts of the Baja Peninsula. Thousands of emergency calls jammed the switchboards of local police stations as terrified residents reported something hunting in the dark. Eyewitnesses consistently described a beast with hypnotic, glowing red eyes that seemed to fixate on its prey. But the reports defied known animal behavior. Witnesses swore they saw the creature launching straight over 10-foot wooden fences in a single bound. What started as scattered sightings in rural towns rapidly grew into a nationwide psychological contagion. The panic reached a scale that forced the Mexican government to address the public on national television to calm a fearful population. By the early 2000s, the mystery moved north into the dense brushlands of Cuero, Texas. Local ranchers started filming a specific type of predator stalking their properties, creatures they began calling blue dogs. These animals didn't run like normal coyotes. Instead, they moved with an unsettling mechanical hopping gait. The purely speculative phase of the hunt ended when a Cuero rancher finally captured the physical remains of one of these beasts. Researchers moved the investigation into the laboratory, using DNA sequencing to provide a definitive identification. The diagnosis was biological. The animals were suffering from a severe strain of sarcoptic mange, caused by microscopic mites that destroy hair follicles and turn the skin a leathery, hairless blue. DNA results confirmed the animals were actually hybrids of coyotes and wolves, their appearance warped by the disease. With these findings, empirical science provided a rational, terrestrial answer for the Texas sightings. The DNA lab provided a perfect diagnosis for the remains found in Texas. However, it leaves a physical paradox. An animal weakened by an advanced skin disease shouldn't be able to leap over a 10-foot barrier in a single bound. Even with the scientific explanation public, witnesses continue to report creatures with physical abilities that defy the biology of a sick canine. Genetic testing answered the question of what was found in Cuero, but it failed to silence the underlying mystery of the mass sightings that defined the earlier panics. Whether the Chupacabra is a biological anomaly driven by disease, or an enduring creature of myth, it remains a reminder that in the shadows of our world, something is always hungry.